What if I told you that your income is not controlled by the economy, not by your boss, not by luck, but by a law as real as gravity, a law that decides exactly how much you earn, how much you grow, and how far you rise. That law is called the law of compensation, and once you understand it, you will never look at work, money, or success the same way again. This truth can be difficult to accept because effort feels noble. We wake up early. We stay up late. We struggle. We sacrifice. We sweat. And somewhere deep inside, we believe that the universe owes us a reward simply because we tried hard. But life does not operate on effort alone. It responds to value. Two people can work equally hard, yet one earns 10 times more. The difference is not sweat. The difference is the weight of the problem they solve and the transformation they create for others. A man can dig a hole all day with a spoon. Another can dig the same hole in an hour with the right tools and knowledge. The first man worked harder. The second created more value. The world does not measure how tired you are. It measures how useful you are. This principle is not cruel. It is just. And in many ways, it reflects a deeper spiritual order. In sacred teachings across faiths, we are reminded that we reap what we sow. The harvest is not determined by how emotional we felt while planting. It is determined by the quality of the seed and the care with which it was cultivated. Effort is the seed. Value is the fruit. If the fruit does not grow, the solution is not to shout at the soil. It is to improve the seed. There is something deeply humbling about this. It removes blame. It removes resentment. It forces us to look inward instead of outward. You can pray for provision. You can ask for increase. But even prayer is often accompanied by action. Faith without work is incomplete. The Creator gives potential, but expects stewardship. Talents are entrusted, not wasted. Gifts are meant to be multiplied, not buried. When you increase your knowledge, you increase your capacity to serve. When you sharpen your skill, you sharpen your ability to relieve someone else's burden. When you discipline your mind, you become trustworthy with greater responsibility. And responsibility is always rewarded. Think about the emotion behind this. How many nights have you felt exhausted yet underpaid? How many times have you thought, I work so hard. Why am I not further? That frustration is real. It stings. It can make the heart heavy, but the answer is empowering. You are not stuck because you lack effort. You are limited only by the level of value you currently provide, and that means you are not powerless. Value is built through learning when others are distracted, through practice when others are resting, through patience when others are quitting. It is built quietly, slowly, almost invisibly. Just like a tree grows underground, before anyone sees its height above the surface. Effort is visible. Value is transformative. One changes your schedule. The other changes someone else's life. When you solve a painful problem for someone, when you make their work easier, when you bring clarity where there was confusion, when you create something that improves their condition, compensation becomes natural. It becomes inevitable. Because at its core, income is an exchange of service. The deeper the service, the greater the reward. And there is something sacred about service. When you dedicate yourself to becoming excellent, you are not only increasing your earnings, you are honoring the gifts placed within you. You are refusing to let your potential remain dormant. You are choosing growth over comfort. There is emotional power in that decision. The moment you stop asking, why am I not paid more? And start asking, how can I become more valuable? Something shifts inside you. You move from frustration to responsibility, from complaint to creation. Effort keeps you busy. Value makes you significant. Effort can exhaust you. Value can elevate you. If you want a different result, you must become a different contributor. That realization can feel heavy at first. It demands more of you. It demands learning, humility, discipline, and patience. But it also gives you control. It gives you hope. Because if income follows value, and value can be developed, then your future is not random. It is cultivated. This is one of the most powerful truths about success, yet it is often misunderstood. Many people chase money directly. They pursue positions, titles, or recognition. But money is rarely the starting point. It is the result. Reward flows toward resolution. Every payment in life is attached to a problem. If there were no problems, there would be no need for businesses, no need for leaders, no need for innovation. The marketplace is simply a collection of human needs waiting to be solved. A person who solves minor inconveniences receives minor rewards. A person who solves urgent, painful, widespread problems receives extraordinary rewards. Think about it emotionally. When someone removes a small irritation from your day, you appreciate it. But when someone removes a deep burden from your life, when they restore your health, protect your family, grow your business, or give you clarity in confusion, your gratitude is far greater. And gratitude carries value. The size of the reward is always connected to the depth of relief you create. There is also a spiritual dimension to this principle. Throughout sacred teachings, we see a consistent pattern. Those who serve at a higher level are entrusted with greater responsibility. Those who carry heavier burdens are often given greater influence. The shepherd who protects the flock is trusted. The leader who stands in the gap for others is elevated. Responsibility precedes reward. When you choose to solve greater problems, you choose greater responsibility. And responsibility is not light. It demands courage. It demands patience. It demands sacrifice. Solving small problems is comfortable. Solving large problems requires growth. Large problems are complex. They involve risk. They involve uncertainty. They require you to think beyond yourself. They stretch your mind and strengthen your character. And that stretching is uncomfortable, but it is in that discomfort that transformation occurs. Imagine two individuals. One avoids difficulty, choosing tasks that require little skill and little accountability. The other intentionally steps toward challenges others avoid. Who will grow faster? Who will become more capable? Who will command greater compensation? The one who embraces the weight. There is an emotional shift that happens when you stop asking, how can I make more money? And begin asking, what significant problem can I solve? That question changes your direction. It moves you from consumption to contribution, from survival to significance. When you solve a big problem, you are not merely performing a task. You are creating impact. You are restoring order where there was chaos. You are bringing light where there was confusion. You are building structure where there was instability. And people will always invest in stability. Large problems often affect many people. The more people impacted by a problem, the greater the value of the solution. This is why innovations that improve communication, health, transportation, or security generate enormous rewards. They touch millions. Impact multiplies income. But there is another layer. The bigger the problem, the fewer people are willing to face it. That alone increases your value. Difficulty filters competition. Most retreat from complexity. Most avoid responsibility. Most choose comfort. If you choose growth instead, you step into rare territory. There is a quiet confidence that develops when you know you can handle serious challenges. It changes how you walk, how you speak, how you think. You no longer fear problems, you look for them. Because you understand that within every major problem lies a major opportunity. Not an easy opportunity, but a meaningful one. The world does not reward you for the hours you spend worrying. It rewards you for the solutions you create. And solutions are born from study, discipline, and persistence. They require you to expand your mind, refine your skills, and deepen your understanding. When you commit to solving greater problems, you commit to becoming greater yourself. And as your capacity expands, so does your reward. The size of your income often reflects the size of the problems you are prepared to handle. If you want greater reward, increase your ability to confront complexity. Increase your tolerance for pressure. Increase your willingness to serve at a higher level. Because every major breakthrough in history came from someone who refused to ignore a significant problem. They leaned into it. They studied it. They wrestled with it. And in solving it, they transformed not only their own lives, but the lives of many. This principle is simple, yet it carries life-changing weight. Your income is rarely a reflection of your dreams. It is a reflection of your developed abilities. Desire does not raise your value. Skill does. You can want success with all your heart. You can visualize it, pray for it, speak about it, and hope for it. But unless you develop the capacity to produce results, your earning power remains limited. The marketplace does not pay for potential. It pays for performance. Skill is refined ability. It is knowledge practiced repeatedly until it becomes reliable. It is competence built through discipline. When you develop a skill, you increase your ability to solve problems efficiently and effectively. And the more capable you become, the more valuable you are to others. There is something deeply empowering about that truth. It means your financial future is not trapped in your past. It is tied to your growth. When you improve your communication, you increase your influence. When you sharpen your technical expertise, you increase your precision. When you strengthen your leadership, you increase your impact. Each new level of mastery opens doors that were previously closed. There is also a spiritual dimension to skill development. Across faith traditions, we are reminded that human beings are entrusted with gifts. These gifts are not meant to remain idle. They are meant to be cultivated. To neglect your ability is to neglect stewardship. To refine your ability is to honor the one who granted it. Growth becomes an act of responsibility. When you dedicate time to learning, when you discipline yourself to practice, when you stretch beyond comfort, you are not merely increasing income potential. You are multiplying what has been placed in your hands, and multiplication leads to increase. Skill development requires humility. It requires admitting that you do not yet know enough, that you are not yet excellent, that you have room to grow. Pride resists growth. Discipline embraces it. There will be moments of frustration, moments where you feel slow, moments where progress seems invisible. But just as a seed grows beneath the soil before it breaks the surface, skill compounds quietly before it becomes obvious. What feels small today becomes powerful tomorrow. Emotionally, this principle can ignite hope. If your earnings are lower than you desire, it is not a life sentence. It is feedback. It is an invitation to grow. Instead of feeling defeated, you can feel motivated. Instead of blaming circumstances, you can build competence. Every hour invested in learning is an investment in your future income. Every new ability acquired increases your leverage. Every refinement reduces your replaceability. The world rewards those who can do what others cannot or what others will not take the time to learn. Skill creates confidence. Confidence fuels action. Action produces results. Results attract compensation. When you become excellent at something valuable, people seek you. They trust you. They rely on you. And reliance creates reward. It is not about chasing money. It is about increasing usefulness. A person with rare and refined skills does not beg for opportunity. Opportunity searches for them. Because organizations, communities, and markets constantly need capable individuals who can deliver consistent outcomes. The path is clear, though not always easy. Study when others scroll. Practice when others procrastinate. Refine when others relax too long. Over time, the gap widens. Skill development is not glamorous. It is repetitive. It is disciplined. It is often unseen, but it is powerful, and it always compounds. As your skill increases, your earning power expands naturally, not by force, not by luck, but by value created through mastery. Your income rises to the level of your capability, and capability is built one disciplined day at a time. In a world crowded with general knowledge and average performance, depth becomes rare, and what is rare becomes valuable. Many people try to know a little about everything. They become familiar with many subjects, but masters of none. They remain interchangeable. If they disappear from their role, someone similar can step in without much disruption. But the one who specializes, the one who goes deep instead of wide, becomes different. And different is difficult to replace. When you specialize, you move beyond surface understanding. You see patterns others miss. You anticipate problems before they appear. You operate with precision where others guess. Your decisions are informed by experience, not assumption. That depth creates trust, and trust creates security. There is an emotional comfort in being needed because of your expertise. It removes the silent fear of being easily substituted. It replaces anxiety with confidence. When you know that your skill set is rare, your posture changes. You no longer compete on noise, you compete on mastery. Specialization requires sacrifice. It demands focus. It means saying no to distractions and yes to deliberate improvement in a specific area. It may even mean walking alone for a season while others chase trends. But focused growth produces authority. Spiritually, there is wisdom in refinement. A blade is not sharpened by touching every stone lightly. It is sharpened by consistent friction in one direction. In the same way, a calling is not fulfilled through scattered attention. It is fulfilled through intentional development. You were not created to blend in without impact. You were entrusted with specific strengths. When you refine those strengths, you honor the design placed within you. Specialization multiplies responsibility. When you become the person who understands a complex system, who can fix what others cannot, who can explain what others find confusing, you become a pillar. Others lean on you. Your insight becomes guidance, and guidance carries value. There is also a practical truth. The more specialized your knowledge, the smaller the pool of competitors. When everyone can do what you do, price drops. When only a few can do what you do, value rises. Difficulty filters out the uncommitted. The journey to specialization is not glamorous. It involves repetition, study, failure, correction. It requires patience when progress feels slow. But over time, something remarkable happens. What once felt difficult becomes natural. What once required intense concentration becomes instinct. And that instinct is powerful. Emotionally, specialization brings clarity. You stop chasing every opportunity. You start building a clear identity. You know what you stand for. You know what you offer. You know where you excel. Clarity strengthens confidence. When you are specialized, you do not rely on luck to survive in the marketplace. You rely on competence. Your reputation begins to speak before you do. People refer you. They remember you. They trust your judgment because you have proven depth. You become the answer to a specific problem. And answers are always in demand. Specialization does not mean limitation. It means concentration of power. Just as light scattered is dim, but light focused becomes a laser, your ability intensifies when directed toward mastery. The world does not easily replace someone who has committed years to refining a rare ability. Organizations protect them. Clients seek them. Communities depend on them. When you become exceptional in a defined area, your value stabilizes and often increases. You are no longer competing on availability. You are competing on expertise. And expertise commands respect. To specialize is to decide that excellence matters more than convenience. It is to accept the discipline of depth over the distraction of variety. In doing so, you step into a different category. A category where replacement is difficult. A category where value is undeniable. A category where your presence truly matters. Intentions are invisible. Results are undeniable. You can have the purest motives, the strongest desires, and the most detailed plans. You can speak passionately about what you are going to build, how hard you are trying, and how much you care. But until something tangible is produced, something measurable, useful, and effective, the world does not respond with reward. Because the marketplace responds to outcomes. It does not compensate dreams. It compensates delivery. This truth can feel harsh at first. It challenges our comfort. It forces us to move beyond good ideas and into disciplined execution. But it is also liberating. It removes favoritism. It removes bias. It creates a clear standard. Produce value, and value returns. There is a spiritual echo in this principle. Faith traditions often emphasize that belief must be accompanied by action. Words alone are not enough. Commitment is demonstrated through deeds. A tree is known by its fruit, not by its promise to bear fruit someday. Fruit is visible. Results are fruit. You may intend to become excellent, but excellence is proven through performance. You may intend to serve people well, but service is measured by the impact you create. You may intend to succeed, but success is validated by the problems you solve. Intentions live in your heart. Results live in the lives of others, and the marketplace measures what changes in others. Emotionally, many people feel frustrated because they confuse effort and intention with outcome. They say, I meant to do it. I tried. I was planning to. But the world does not move based on what almost happened. It moves based on what did happen. This can either discourage you or awaken you. If you accept it fully, it becomes empowering. It tells you exactly where to focus your energy, not on appearing busy, not on sounding impressive, not on endless preparation without action, but on completion. Completion builds credibility. When you consistently deliver results, people begin to trust you. Trust turns into opportunity. Opportunity turns into compensation. Reliability becomes your reputation. Results separate the disciplined from the distracted. Anyone can intend to wake up early. Few actually rise. Anyone can intend to learn a new skill. Few practice long enough to master it. Anyone can intend to build something meaningful. Few endure the process required to finish. Finishing is rare. Delivering is powerful. There is also accountability in this law. It reminds you that excuses do not generate income. Only impact does. The world does not measure your internal struggle. It measures external improvement. That realization can sting, but it can also sharpen you. When you shift your focus from what you plan to do to what you consistently produce, something changes in your discipline. You begin to hold yourself to a higher standard. You begin to track progress. You begin to ask stronger questions. Did I complete the task? Did I improve the outcome? Did I create measurable value? Results demand clarity. They demand systems. They demand focus. And there is dignity in that process. When you deliver outcomes, you feel different internally. Confidence rises. Self-respect strengthens. You no longer rely on hope alone. You rely on proof. You see the evidence of your growth. The marketplace cannot ignore consistent performance. Over time, those who produce results are separated from those who produce promises. One group speaks about potential. The other demonstrates capability. Capability earns reward. This principle is not about perfection. It is about effectiveness. It is not about flawless execution. It is about meaningful progress that improves a situation. When you make it your standard to deliver, not just discuss, your value increases. When you measure yourself by outcomes, not intentions, your earning power rises naturally. Because the world responds to what is built, not what is imagined. If your mindset remains limited, your income will struggle to exceed that limitation. If your discipline is weak, your earnings will leak through poor decisions. If your thinking is small, your opportunities will remain small. Financial growth is rarely a money problem. It is a personal development problem. When you grow internally, you expand externally. Your beliefs determine your standards. Your standards determine your habits. Your habits determine your results. And your results determine your income. Many people attempt to increase their finances without increasing themselves. They look for shortcuts, quick trades, easy promotions, fast opportunities. But without the internal capacity to sustain higher income, any temporary gain disappears. Growth sustains what luck cannot. There is also a spiritual truth woven into this principle. You are entrusted with potential. Potential is not automatic prosperity. It is raw material. It must be shaped, refined, disciplined, and strengthened. When you cultivate patience, integrity, wisdom, and self-control, you become capable of carrying greater responsibility. And responsibility attracts reward. Financial growth requires decision-making ability. It requires emotional control under pressure. It requires resilience when markets fall, when business slows, when setbacks occur. Those qualities are not purchased. They are developed. Personal growth strengthens your character before your bank account increases. It teaches you to delay gratification. It trains you to focus when distractions call. It humbles you enough to keep learning. Emotionally, this truth can be life-changing. It removes envy. Instead of asking why someone else is ahead financially, you begin asking how they grew personally. What skills did they build? What habits did they refine? What mindset did they strengthen? Growth becomes your focus, not comparison. When you read daily, your thinking sharpens. When you practice discipline, your productivity multiplies. When you improve communication, your influence expands. When you build courage, your opportunities increase. Every inner upgrade creates outer movement. Money follows clarity. Money follows competence. Money follows confidence. And all three are products of personal development. There is something empowering about knowing that your income ceiling is connected to your growth ceiling. If you feel financially stuck, you are not trapped. You are invited to expand, learn more, think deeper, strengthen your weaknesses, refine your strengths. As you grow, your perception changes. You begin to see opportunities others overlook. You make wiser investments. You build stronger relationships. You negotiate better. You lead more effectively. Your value increases naturally. Personal growth also stabilizes success. Without maturity, money amplifies flaws. With maturity, money amplifies wisdom. If your character is fragile, financial growth can become destructive. If your character is strong, financial growth becomes constructive. Growth protects what growth produces. When you commit to becoming a better thinker, a better communicator, a better leader, a better steward of your time and energy, your earning power rises as a byproduct because you are becoming more capable. There is no faster sustainable path to financial increase than intentional self-improvement. When you invest in your mind, your discipline, your emotional intelligence, and your faith, you build an internal foundation strong enough to support external expansion. Your income rarely outgrows you for long. But when you outgrow your current level of thinking, action, and responsibility, your income has no choice but to rise to meet you. You are not limited by your current circumstances. You are limited only by the value you choose to develop. The law of compensation is working right now, whether you understand it or not. Make the decision today to become more valuable than you were yesterday. Because when you grow, your rewards must follow. It is not luck. It is not chance. It is law.